Okay, so we just finished going over how to create templates for our stickers that we created either for ourselves or for the business that you guys were assigned. So now we're going to talk about how to create these 2x2 magnets, okay? And you guys are going to get to create a magnet for you guys to keep, as well as you're going to create one for a teacher. Now, here's the thing. You're either going to have to ask that teacher, but I want this to be a surprise because you're going to create a magnet for them as well as a thank you note for what they mean to you, and you're going to give that to them by the end of this week. Okay, so let's jump in on how we're going to create this. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to do, we're going to jump over into Adobe Illustrator, and I'm going to start where you guys are, and I'm going to click New File. First of all, we want to make sure we have 8.5 by 11 in inches and CMYK because we're going to have to print these pictures out before we press them. So we're going to click Create. Now the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go over here, and on the fourth one down, or fifth one down on the left side, we're going to make sure we get the polygon tool, and we're going to click. Now, we want to make sure we have 8 sides. We're going to be creating an octagon, which I know probably doesn't make sense considering that this is a square, but trust me, trust the process. It's going to work. When you see the press, you'll understand. So we're going to click OK. Now, we're going to change the width to this to 2.7, 2.8. I did 2.75, and these turned out all right, but if you look at some of them, you can see kind of the white corners. So we're going to make that 2.8. And once we hit that, you hit enter. As long as this is checked right here, you're going to have both of those. Now, we're going to hit go to properties. We want to make sure the fill is set to transparent. And now we're going to select this, Control C, Control V. You guys are only allowed the 2. And we have our 2 octagons there, okay? So I'm going to grab those, drag them down, make sure they have a little bit of room. Now we just have to add our images. So obviously, one, you get to either download yourself, send to yourself, however you want to do it. But I'm going to go ahead, go to my downloads. All right, let me find my picture that I want to use. Man, I've got a lot of files. All right, so as we go in here, and let's just say I'm going to use this one of my daughter, I'm going to drag this in here, minimize that. Now I'm going to hold the shift key and shrink her down until it is a good size. Now it's okay if there is a little bit of size of the side left over. It won't show too much, but it will a little bit. But what I do want to notice is that keep in mind that this is where that fold's going to be. So anything, if I'm going to go in here, sorry guys, I'll just show to give you guys a better idea. Anything from about here down is where it's going to be cut off, okay? So everything you see kind of in this shape inside of the square there is what you're going to see. That's just to give you guys kind of a rough estimate. These are 2x2. If you wanted to kind of organize that and see what it's going to look like, that gives you an idea. So, okay, I'm pretty good with that. And so that would be my first one. Now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to tell my guides to hide because what I want to make sure, remember, if we go to make a clipping mask like this, it's not going to work. So I need to go over here, make sure this is dragged to the bottom there. You can either do that on a completely separate layer or just make sure it's here. First thing we're going to do now is make sure that we make a clipping mask, and the very next thing we're going to do is to make sure that we embed the file. If you do not embed the file, it will not turn out as good. Now, what is very important, yes, that created a clipping mask, but we are definitely going to want to see that outline. So make sure you keep that outline stroke there even after you create that clipping mask. Okay, you'll add your photo in for your personal one, for your teacher, and then you are going to file, save it to your computer, name it magnets, save it as an Adobe Illustrator file, and then put that in the classroom. Other than that, go ahead and start writing your note for your teacher. We are going to make these tomorrow, and then you guys will get to give them out by the end of this week. All right, thanks.